Picture this. Islands so irresistible that jetting off to one is now its own buzzword. An island getaway everyone dreams of. But let's be real. Not all islands are paradise material, with most craving that perfect mix of sun and sandy shores. So, Europe as an island hotspot? Sounds crazy, right? Yet rewind millions of years to the Cretaceous period, and it's a jaw-dropping reality. Back then, Europe wasn't just warm. It was a steamy tropical wonderland. A sprawling archipelago dotted with countless islands, big and small, all cradled by a shallow, sun-soaked tropical sea. Many were peaceful, empty havens, perfect for kicking back. But others? They were home to some seriously weird residents, making any visit a roll of the dice. Of all the islands you could have explored back then, Hatk Island takes the cake as the wildest. A place crawling with creatures so freaky they'd invade your nightmares. Here's the kicker. These weren't even dinosaurs, since this was one of Earth's rare corners, where dinos weren't kings, but prey. Welcome to Hatk Island, the getaway you'd never sign up for, despite its past as a tropical marvel. Imagine a lost world. Hatk Island, a massive chunk of land that's vanished from every map on Earth. Today, all that's left are faint whispers in the rocks near Hat, Romania. Clues to a forgotten giant. Between 90 and 66 million years ago, this wasn't just a speck. It sprawled over 80,000 square kilometers, roughly 31,000 square miles, rivaling Hispaniola, home to Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Yup, Hatk was a big deal. Scientists, piecing together its ancient puzzle, say it sat just above the equator, and if it popped up now, it'd land smack in Algeria. But here's the wild part. Its vibe, climate, rocks, and terrain mirrors modern Hainan off China's coast. Back then, Hatk wasn't surrounded by African shores, but a gang of European neighbors. Iberia, Ireland, Sardinia, Bosnia, Austria, even bits of today's Ukraine, to name a few. Still, don't let the map fool you. During the Cretaceous, Africa and North America weren't far off either. Dreaming of a swim to safety? Forget it. Hatk was stranded in the Tethys Sea, locked in by at least 200 kilometers, or 120 miles, of water in every direction, with the Bohemian Massif as its closest lifeline. This wasn't some cozy island retreat. It was a wild, isolated kingdom, cut off from the world, waiting to reveal its secrets. Hatk Island was a loner's paradise. Cut off from the world, it stayed eerily quiet for ages. Hardly any creatures could brave the journey or set up camp there, leaving it a ghost town of sorts. Fossils from the early Cretaceous back this up. Barely any fauna to speak of. Picture yourself stranded there at first. Your only company? Tiny lizards and sleepy sea turtles. No big deal, right? But fast forward to the late Cretaceous, and the vibe flips hard. Dinosaurs, pterosaurs, and other wild beasts stormed in, claiming Hatk as home and turning it into what seems like just another dino playground. Or so you'd think. There's more to this island's story than a prehistoric takeover waiting to unfold. Think Hatk Island was just another dino stomping ground? Think again. This place flipped the script in the wildest way. Step onto its lost shores, and you'd feel the weirdness hit fast. Dinosaurs here shrank to pint-sized versions, while the real terror came from above. Massive carnivorous pterosaurs, not some T-Rex wannabe, ruled as apex predators. These winged giants owned the skies, dwarfing their tiny dino neighbors. Why the size swap? Paleontologists have scratched their heads over this for years, and the best answer lies in nature's quirky rules. Insular dwarfism and gigantism. Dinosaurs downsized due to scarce resources, while pterosaurs, free from dino rivalry, ballooned into colossal beasts. With no competition holding them back, they evolved into the largest flying creatures Earth's ever seen. Period. Picture this: mini dinos scurrying underfoot as skyscraper-sized pterosaurs swoop down, jaws snapping. It's a prehistoric twist no one saw coming, turning Hatt into a freak show of evolution. This wasn't your typical Cretaceous hotspot. It was a bizarre battleground where size didn't play by the usual rules, and the skies held the deadliest threat. Buckle up, because Hatt's story only gets crazier from here. Let me take you deeper into this upside-down world of giants and runts. Giant pterosaurs ruling Hatt Island? Trust me, they're not your postcard pretties. 3 beasts from the Ajdarchid family, kings of the Cretaceous skies, called this place home. Long legs, long necks, and a vibe that screams trouble. These weren't your average flyers. First up, Eorajdarcho, the smallest of the trio. But don't be fooled. With a 3-meter, 10-foot wingspan, it matched today's biggest birds. Still, it wasn't flexing on dinosaurs, sticking to a chill diet of amphibians, small reptiles, and mammals. Yawn-worthy for a predator. But then comes Albad Draco, a whole different monster. This beast wasn't even the island's biggest, yet its 7-meter, 23-foot wingspan smoked Argentavis, the heaviest bird ever to soar. Picture it towering over you, peering down with menace. What's freaky? Its skull, huge, sturdy, and built for chaos. Unlike other pterosaurs, Albad Draco's head screamed, "I eat big," with a beak and bite evolved to tackle serious prey. Dinosaurs. Experts reckon it stabbed or smashed its way through Hatt's mini-dino locals, sometimes gulping them whole. Sharper beak edges than its cousins? More proof it craved heftier meals. By sheer size, it was the island's second biggest hunter, dwarfing most rivals. Juveniles were fair game, though it skipped the tiny sauropods and ornithopods, zeroing in on theropods, noasaurs, and other non-avian dinos. Flight? Sure, it could, but its legs and wings hint it loved stalking on foot, using bushes for cover, saving wings to scout the next kill zone. This wasn't a dainty flyer, it was a ground-pounding terror, rewriting Hatt's predator playbook. Sure, Albad Draco's size and creepy looks might spook you, but on Hatt Island, it's not your biggest nightmare. Meet Hattagopter, the ultimate sky terror that makes everything else look like a joke. This beast holds the crown as the largest flying animal ever, with a jaw-dropping 12-meter, 39-foot wingspan. That's wider than an F-35 fighter jet. Let that sink in. Only North America's Quetzalcoatlus comes close, but even it's a lightweight next to Hattagopter's tank-like build. Picture a heavy bomber with a thick, towering skeleton. On the ground, its head loomed 5 meters, 16.5 feet, high, eyeballing giraffe territory. Some say it matched a grizzly bear's heft. How does a chunky monster like that fly? It did, flawlessly. Experts swear its wings, pure Ajdarchid perfection, showed no signs of weakness. Hattagopter launched itself skyward with freakishly strong legs, leaping 2.4 meters, 8 feet, straight up, 3 times an NBA player's best jump before those massive wings took over. Long flights weren't its thing, though. It likely soared short bursts to scout prey. Like Albad Draco, it ruled as a ground stalker, and get this, it might have been a terrifyingly fast runner, too. Towering over bushes, its height was a predator's cheat code. And if that's not wild enough, its eagle-sharp vision, hinted by sclerotic rings, spotted anything hiding. Hatt's undisputed champ, Hattagopter was a colossal nightmare you couldn't outrun or outhide. Hattagopter wasn't just a massive carnivore. Its real terror wasn't its size, but its head. Forget Albad Draco's puny noggin. Hatagopter's skull stretched 2.5 meters, 8 feet, as long as a horse. Not just long, it was freakishly tough, giving it a surreal, nightmarish look. That head screamed, "I eat everything," built compact and brutal, backed by a neck roped with muscle and ligaments. This wasn't for show. It was a weapon, designed to slam and soak up insane force. Experts call it a dino-slaying machine, preying on Hack's locals, even dwarf sauropods and ornithopods when young. Recreations show it could stab or smash prey too big to swallow, though its jaws could gulp down human-sized meals whole. Grimmer still? It was a sloppy killer. Scars on fossil skulls hint at brutal, high-speed headbutts, while studies say its beak and neck handled forces 10 times its weight, enough to pierce flesh deep or shatter bones. Hatagopter ruled Hack, turning it into a prehistoric horror show. But it wasn't your only worry. Crocodile-like hunters thrived here too, climbing the food chain thanks to those tiny dinos. Now, pop quiz. What's the top extinction driver? 3, 2, 1. Food loss. Sure, habitat shifts or meteors play a role, but starvation's the real killer. Hack's croc-like hunters were small fry next to us humans. Some, like Aurusicus, Durodon, and Sabersuchus, were downright puny, tinier than a house cat if they roamed today. But don't sleep on the Alaposicus. This beast flipped the script. A Yukon kin to modern crocodilians, it ruled Hack's lakes and rivers like a watery warlord. Picture it, lurking in the shallows, waiting for thirsty prey to sip. Then bam! Ambushing with a bone-crushing bite and razor-sharp, serrated teeth. Fossils peg it as a top predator, stretching 3 meters, 10 feet, snout to tail, tipping scales at over 220 pounds, 100 kilos. Heavier than a beefy jaguar. What's wilder? This semi-aquatic terror wasn't waterbound. Its longish limbs hint it strutted on land too, maybe even ran. So, no safe zone here. Water or not, you'd dodge a croc with heft. Alaposuchus wasn't just big. It was a crafty dual-threat killer stalking Hack's wet and wild corners. Think you're safe on dry ground? Think again. Those jaws were coming for you either way. The island's predator roster just keeps getting spicier. And we're not done yet. Snakes slithered onto Hack Island too. Fossils prove it. Some, like the Madsoids, even claimed the title of Earth's longest serpents at times. But Hack's star, Nidus, was no giant. Think garter snake size, short and sweet. Venom? Nope, it didn't pack that punch. A bite might sting like a bad prank, but it wouldn't drop anything big. Still, imagine these little wigglers sharing turf with crocs and pterosaurs. Hack's predator party just got weirder, and there's more to unravel. Carnivorous dinos prowled Hack too, but don't panic. These were mini-terrors, pint-sized compared to their mainland cousins, barely a threat to anything human-sized. Meet Lopus, aka Heptotherus, or Brachium, depending on who's chatting. A common alvarezzosaur stretching 7 feet, 2.1 meters, long but light as a big beagle. Armed with stubby claw digits, they were bug-munching machines, feasting mostly on termites. Not exactly spine-chilling, right? But here's the twist. Paleontologists once mistook Lopus for a monstrous owl, a 2-meter, 6.6-foot avian giant with a 17.8-foot, 5.4-meter wingspan, dwarfing any owl today and ranking it among Hack's biggest beasts. That mix-up had paleo fans drooling and Hack's locals trembling. Imagine a colossal owl swooping down. Alas, the truth's tamer. Lopus was just a harmless alvarezzosaur, not a feathered nightmare. Pew for Hack residents, bummer for thrill seekers. Still, don't get too comfy. Another dino lurked here that might have actually spiced things up. Hack's predator lineup keeps twisting, and we're diving deeper into this wild island next. Meet the Bayou Bondoc, a shadowy enigma that's kept researchers guessing for years. Bird or beast? They can't decide if it's an early avian flyer or a non-avian dino. Maybe a dromaeosaur. Latest clues lean toward bird, but a raptor twist still lingers. Either way, this pint-sized predator, velociraptor-sized, was a killing machine. Don't let its small frame fool you. It packed serious muscle, especially in those chunky legs. Its pelvis? Loaded with anchor points for power, not speed. And the kicker? Twin giant claws on each foot. Raptor-style weapons built to wreck. Experts reckon it ambushed prey, unleashing devastating kicks to bury those claws deep. Or maybe it pinned victims with its talons, chowing down as they squirmed, alive, like some modern birds do. Creepy, right? Spot this theropod, and you'd be wise to bolt. Though, plot twist, it might have been harmless. Fossils are pristine, yet no skulls turned up. Carnivore? Omnivore? Herbivore? No one knows for sure. Hack's mystery beast keeps us on edge. Killer or quirky, it's a wild card in this prehistoric puzzle, and we're dying to crack it. Hack hides yet another shadowy predator. Megalosaurus hungaricus. A name that teases big thrills, but delivers mystery. Don't be fooled. It's no true megalosaurus. Those giants were ancient history by then. Instead, it's a mislabeled theropod, possibly an alvarezzosaur. And like Hack's other dinos, it was small. How small? That's the catch. Only scattered teeth have surfaced, leaving us guessing. Still, they're puny next to mainland theropods, so experts cautiously peg it at 3 meters, 9.8 feet. If that holds, it's Hack's biggest non-avian predatory dino, a crown worth wearing. Beyond teeth and size, though, it's a ghost. Paleontologists bet it hunted herbivore locals like the armored Struthiosaurus or the chunky Zalmoxis, a near match in scale. Was it a terror or a scavenger? Hack's keeping that secret for now. Zalmoxis stands out on Hack. It dodged the shrink ray of insular dwarfism that hit most dinos here. Why? With few herbivores hogging resources, it didn't balloon into a titan, but held its ground as a decent-sized beast. Ironic twist? While it strutted as a solid contender, the crown for Hack's biggest predator still slipped through its claws. This tough little survivor hints at a wilder food web and bigger battles waiting to be uncovered. On Hack, the heaviest hitters weren't the tallest. Insular dwarfism crowned the sauropods as the island's weight champs. 2 titanosaurs ruled here, Megasaurus and Plutotitan. Megasaurus, the smaller one, stretched 6 meters, 20 feet, and tipped scales at 1 ton. Plutotitan, same length, but a beefier frame added 1/10 of a ton. Still tiny for titanosaurs, more horse than bush elephant. Yet these runts were Hack's heftiest, and full-grown ones likely laughed off predators. Size wasn't their only edge. Megasaurus rocked osteoderms, bony armor plating its body. This shield probably saved juveniles from hungry jaws, making them tough little tanks in a predator-packed paradise. Not every Hack dino was as lucky as Megasaurus. Take Tomosaurus, a hadrosaur morph stripped bare by insular dwarfism. At 5 meters, 16 feet, and half a ton, it lacked armor, leaving even adults vulnerable 24/7. Common on the island, it was likely a juicy staple in Hattagopter's menu. Tooth studies reveal it munched shrubs and herbs, sticking to Hack's wooded heart for food and cover from prying eyes. But predators weren't its only woe. A fossil shows some carried nasty baggage, non-cancerous tumors. One poor soul rocked a massive meloblastoma on its jaw. Harmless? Sure, but deadly. It grew so big, eating became a cruel joke, probably starving it out. Life could have been kinder if Thomasaurus kept its mainland kin's bulk. Tough break. While most hack dinos shrank under insular dwarfism's curse, a lucky few ballooned into giants. Enter Gargantoavis. This wasn't your average dinosaur. It was an avian, a primitive bird that defied the Mesozoic norm. Birds back then? Usually crow-sized pipsqueaks. But Gargantoavis? A total freak. Thanks to scant competition, it soared to become Hack's biggest bird and the heftiest dino-era flyer ever. Experts peg it at cassowary or ostrich size, averaging 141 kilos, 311 pounds. A heavyweight resident. Its ecosystem role? A maddening mystery. No skull's been found, so its diet's a blank. Clues from its neck hint at a colossal head, sparking wild guesses. A terror bird-style hunter? Body and limbs say nah, too clunky. Then there's its thick femur, a dead ringer for the extinct moas, screaming slowpoke. No flying for this beast. Some bet it grazed seeds, fruits, and grasses like a moa. Without a skull, though, it's all shots in the dark. Hunt for its head? Total bust. Gargantoavis was rare, shunning fossil-friendly rivers and lakes. Still, picture stumbling into this ostrich-sized oddity. Heart-pounding stuff. Add pterosaurs, crocs, and maybe mini-killer dinos, and Hack's one sketchy getaway. Oh, and there's more heat coming. Hack wasn't just landlocked terror. Its shallow bordering waters brewed aquatic nightmares. Like late Cretaceous hotspots, the Tethys Sea teemed with mosasaurs. But Hack went overboard. 9 genera, out-diversifying nearly everywhere else on Earth. 3 locals, Mosasaurus, Hoser, and Prognathodon, were absolute titans, stretching over 30 feet, 9 meters, some rivaling baleen whales in length. Even the smallest, Coroin, matched a hefty bull shark. No pushover. These sea serpents loved warm, shallow waters, meaning you wouldn't swim far before one found you. Plesiosaurs prowled too. Sure, they skipped human-sized snacks, but their eerie silhouettes could stop your heart. Sharks? Oh yeah, they joined the party, sharpening Hack's watery welcome. Sharks ruled Hack's waters with wild diversity. Think carpet, cow, squalene, dogfish, bamboo, saw, mackerel, and nurse varieties. But the real screamers? Mackerel sharks, built to hunt megafauna with rows of serrated teeth. The Ginsu shark reigned supreme, outstretching great whites and clocking 70 kilometers per hour, 43 miles per hour, for devastating ambushes that shredded unsuspecting prey. Then there's Lepos Styx, a lesser-known mackerel titan, hitting 8.3 meters, 27 feet, nearly whale shark territory. Freaky part? It hugged shallow coastal waters, a vacationer's worst nightmare. Topping it off, crow sharks prowled, smaller but ravenous, snacking on pterosaurs and dinos, dumb enough to get stranded. Stay on Hack or swim for it. Either way, you're toast. Mother Nature's got more tricks up her sleeve. Mother Nature played rough with Hack Island. Studies show volcanic eruptions buried it in ash time and again. But nothing topped the chaos 66 million years ago when that dino-killer asteroid slammed Earth. Hack drew the short straw, hammered by a monstrous tsunami, possibly over 9 meters, 30 feet, high. Survivors? They faced brutal heat spikes, sparking wildfires that torched the island's dry woodlands. Tsunamis plus infernos spelled doom for Hack and its weird, wild crew, gone in a fiery, watery grave.